The sweetest gift of nature, maple syrup. Maple syrup production by the Indians has been documented as early as 1555. The Indians passed on their discovery of maple syrup to the explorers and early settlers of the northeastern tier of the United States and Canada. They had limited language, but in a gesture to offer their friendship, they eagerly taught others how to tap a tree and process the sap. Indian and early American sugar makers typically made maple sugar rather than syrup. Storage was easier, and the sugar could be reconstituted at any time by simply adding water. The tools of the trade and manufacture of the product have changed over the years, moving away from the very primitive Indian ways in favor of more efficient and food-safe methods. Sugar makers in the state of Maine have a long history of partnering, including establishing some of the first grading standards for the state. This partnership continues today through several sugar maker associations. The first day of sugaring season is described as romantic. The second and subsequent days, hard work. Yes, it has always been a labor of love at a time when the woods are waking up with bright sunshine and the exciting promise of new growth in life. So what does it take to turn sweet water into maple syrup? The northeast area of North America provides ideal conditions for making maple syrup. Almost any species of maple will provide sap, but the best are Acer saccharum and Acer rubrum, better known as sugar and red maples. In hundreds of years, the basics are still the same. You need a tree, heat, and little cooperation from Mother Nature. You can choose to make syrup with a very simple setup, or go to more elaborate equipment. Either way, the finished product will be well worth the effort. It starts with a healthy tree. Maples at least 10 inches in diameter, boasting a broad, healthy crown and root system, are ideal for tapping. A tap is placed into the tree. A hole 5/16 inches in diameter and about 1 inch deep holds the tap. The tap allows the sap to run out of the tree and is collected either in a bucket or is fed through a series of tubing to a common collection point. A fresh tap hole is drilled each year, its location carefully selected. When sugaring season ends, the taps are removed from the trees. Then the sugar maker waits and watches for the right weather conditions for a sap run. Fluctuations in wood temperature above and below freezing during the dormant season are responsible for sap flow in maples. The sap flow rate will be proportional to the pressure inside the tree, and pressure will almost always be highest at the beginning of the thawing period. Ideally, the overnight temperature falls below freezing, and daytime temperatures that warm into the 40s and 50s. If there is a wind, a westerly direction is best, These conditions only occur on average 20 times in a 6 to 8 week period. Each sugar maker has a way of collecting sap. Oxen and horses were a common sight in the sugar bush in years past. They were especially well suited to long walks, sometimes through deep snow, and with the brute strength to haul a scoot with gathering tank weighing well over a ton. The team paused patiently at each stop, waiting on a simple voice command to move on to the next. While buckets and hand gathering are still common methods of collecting sap, the sugaring industry has evolved to a less labor-intensive system. For some, vehicles are used to haul large gathering tanks from the sugar bush to the sugar house. For others, the tubing runs directly to the sugar house. Sap flows either by gravity or a vacuum system. Vacuum systems are used to overcome natural obstacles and create consistent sap flow. Once at the sugar house, the sap is filtered. To produce maple syrup, the raw sap that contains 1 to 3% sugar needs to be concentrated. This involves cooking the raw sap to remove about 95% of the water, leaving the tasty sugar behind. Some sugar makers do this exclusively by boiling. Others use a process called reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis separates the sap into two parts: concentrated sap and pure water, called permeate. This reduces cooking time and also saves resources. Fuels for evaporation can include wood, oil, natural gas, or steam. Once the sap is heated to 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, it becomes pure maple syrup. The raw sap is now 67% sugar. It is tested with a hydrometer to verify its density. Hot syrup is filtered to remove any remaining impurities, such as sugar sand, which naturally forms during the boiling process. It is harmless, but will turn syrup cloudy. The sap is cooked and it is now glistening amber syrup. It's ready to be tested and graded. Grading is important to the consumer because it tells you what your pure and natural Maine maple syrup will taste and look like. As of 2016, grading of pure Maine maple syrup has changed. Today, maple producers use a uniform standard grading system. Maple syrup is graded by color, also known as light transmittance and flavor. Syrup is bottled in the following categories: golden color with a delicate taste, amber color with a rich taste, dark color with a robust taste, very dark color with a strong taste. Golden color is the lightest category, having a delicate or mild flavor. Amber color has a rich or full-bodied flavor. Syrup graded dark has a robust or substantial flavor. If you are looking for syrup with a strong maple flavor, very dark would be for you. Producers use a test kit or a light transmittance meter to determine the color. The final test is flavor. Choosing syrup is a personal preference. None of these is better than another. They are all good. Your syrup is ready to be packaged. Bottling is done at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Your syrup purchase can become a beautiful gift in many shapes of glass, or a traditional jug kept in a handy spot in your family refrigerator. Syrup is also transformed into a wide variety of other products to tempt your taste buds. Sugar candy is an all-time favorite. Maple cream, maple-covered nuts create the perfect topping to a salad or a nibbler's snack. Treat yourself to a collection of Sugar Maker's recipes and experience that wonderful maple flavor in your meats and baking. As the old saying goes, there ain't nothing good that Maine maple syrup doesn't make better. So where can you find your local source of maple syrup? Maine maple sugar makers are your neighbors, and we welcome you to our farms or farmers markets. You can also experience a Maine Maple Sunday open house, always the fourth Sunday in March, when many of Maine's sugar makers throw open the sugar house doors and welcome you to see it all firsthand. You won't be disappointed. Special treats of the day await you. A visit to the farm when spring is in the air while you munch on a maple ice cream sundae, fresh maple cotton candy, or sugar on snow. You can stock up then on your syrup for the year, or continue to visit the sugar house throughout the year to keep this all-natural sweetener as a staple in your kitchen. It is an excellent source of antioxidants, calcium, iron, and manganese. It's good for you. Maine Maple Sugar Makers invite you to get ready and enjoy the natural sweetness of Maine.